First Federal program on WROI Cheyenne FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
Yes, indeed, it is a beautiful Friday morning. The sun is out. It is nice and cool. It feels like it's fall out there, Evan.
Football season, fall, that kind of goes hand in hand. I'm ready for some chili.
It's coming up pretty quickly.
It really is. Yep, I love fall, so I think I've had enough summer. I'm sure someone doesn't run by and beat me up for saying that.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. I'm ready for the hoodie weather.
Yep, me too. So it's coming. Feels great out there.
Yes.
I'm kind of lulled into a relaxed state after that nice song.
Yeah, we wanted you to be nice and relaxed before you start.
Little zen morning with the...
Yes.
Did you see the moon last night?
Yes, I did.
That was like a spotlight.
Super blue moon the night before.
That was very, very bright.
Yes.
That was. I think I could have been sitting outside reading a book.
Oh yeah. I got up this morning and it was still. I was like, "Are we sure it's 5 o'clock?"
That's what
right.
That's what I thought too. I had the same thought. Well, hey, we got a fun day at First Federal. You got to go up to Bremen for the fun, but that's a good time.
Yeah.
If you ever make it up there. Our Bremen Branch Community Appreciation Days today from 11 to 2. So we're going to serve you lunch if you come up. We're having a Bob's Cafeteria food truck in the Marshall County area. It's really good food. You got to come out and try that out. And then, of course, we got shred bins. If you didn't get your shredding taken care of here in Rochester in July, then you got another chance right here.
Yes.
And we'll have our giveaways. And then we're also doing a raffle again for a Blackstone flat top gas grill.
All right.
You can head on up there.
I know I might have to go up there today just to try to get that grill again.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Bremen's a nice town. We've enjoyed being a central bank there for many, many years. I think it was our third branch.
It was our third branch. I want to say the year, but I'm not going to, so I'm going to be wrong.
Early 70s.
Yeah, it was early 70s. I just remember the year.
So, well, we'd love to see you there. And of course, heading into Labor Day weekend. Always a lot of family time usually, some fun. The weather's still nice to be outside. Maybe it's not going to scorch you though.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great weekend.
I think it's my favorite weekend of the year.
There's a lot of reasons for it. What's your reason, Tina?
Start college football.
I knew it was going to be sports related.
NFL's around the corner, but also I'm a big fan of fall weather. Fall's my favorite time of the year. So, I mean, it's going to feel like summer this weekend still, but fall weather's coming soon. So.
Yes.
Okay, you know how technology sometimes is a little misleading. I don't know what the reason for this was. I looked at the Apple weather app a few days ago for Rochester, and the last day on there, like the 10 days, said the high was 106.
Yeah. I'm really thinking that's going to be wrong.
I had to show Emily just to make sure I wasn't crazy, but it doesn't say that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what was going on there.
You mentioned that, and it's funny because my kids and I and my wife, we all have the exact same weather app, and we can all open it at the same time and get a different forecast, all sitting in our living room.
That industry. Why does that not even surprise us that much?
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about money news a little later, but economists are in the same boat. Mm-hmm. They can say whatever they want, their interpretation on this data point, and it doesn't even matter. They don't even have to be right to have a job.
What meteorologist is within 10 degrees?
Yeah.
Pretty good. So.
The only job you get paid to be wrong 90% of the time.
I need to coach these school kids right now on what places to go into where you're right even when you're wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm scared.
I'm sure how to say that. I'll work on my pitch there a little bit more. But all right, what's our trivia question, Tanner? This flows with what you were just saying.
Yeah, well, college football week 1 technically started last night, but a majority of games are tomorrow, some Sunday, and even one Monday. So that got me thinking, Paul, what college football team holds the record for the most consecutive wins?
All right.
Indiana University. Just kidding.
This isn't consecutive losses.
Oh!
They are the all-time losingest big-time college
they are. So,
all right, sorry.
But
what are the choices?
I do have a Indiana college in here. Notre Dame is your first choice. Is your choice A. Oklahoma, B. C is Ohio State. D, Alabama. All four pretty good historic programs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I thought I had it, and then you gave me more options, and I was like, oh man, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you can take all program one thing.
Yeah.
Well, don't think too hard. We would like you to contribute to the program.
That is true.
Don't
That
get
is
so
true.
locked into your.
That is true.
The way your mind works with all
Yeah.
this trivia, I know you're going to get probably to the answer
Oh,
somehow.
probably.
Well, the best part is we're not talking college football today, so I won't be able to really think too hard on it. So.
What are we talking about today? Just kidding. Our esteemed guest, and he's had me as a guest too,
Yeah.
Brian Johnson from the Fulton County Community Foundation, part of the Northern Indiana Community Foundation.
This isn't his first rodeo.
No, we're going to find out what's going on. They've got a lot of things happening throughout the year. We're getting close to some big ones. So. Okay, sorry, that's my plug for our interview later.
Okay.
Good time to plug that, probably.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sports. We've got a lot of high school football going on tonight around the area. Rochester High School goes on the road again for a TRC matchup with Whitco Wildcats tonight. Pre-game same time.
6:40.
6:40. Perfect. Tippecanoe Valley, after successfully defending the bell against Rochester last week, they travel back home this week, host Twin Lakes. So we're going to see some interesting opponents on Valley's schedule this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Without a conference.
A little bit different.
Yeah, they're definitely challenging themselves and playing some new opponents.
What
Kind
area of
fun.
the state is Twin Lakes from?
Monticello.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep. Caston Comets travel on the road over to Bourbon to play Triton tonight.
Okay.
Culver hosts Knox, and Winnemac travels to North White.
Okay.
Good luck to everybody involved, and should be a great night to go watch some Friday Night Lights high school football action.
Yeah.
If you can't, tune in to WROI.
Exactly. Because I know Randy and Val mentioned those other games
Yes, they
throughout
will.
the game with the scores, so you can stay up
They
to
did a
date.
great job.
I had the app going last Friday night, listening to some of the Bell game, and they do a great job.
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, college football, all Indiana schools are in action this weekend.
Okay.
Notre Dame's already 1-0. They were part
Yep.
of the Week 0 action. Convincing win over Navy over in Dublin,
Yeah.
Ireland. So that game was over pretty quick.
Yeah.
So they're ranked 13th. They host Tennessee State. That game's at 3:30 on NBC. Kevin, do you know who Tennessee State's head coach is?
No, I don't.
Eddie George.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, Ohio State legend, and then he was pretty good for the Tennessee
He
Titans
was.
too. Yep.
He was really good in the pros as well.
He is
Well,
Tennessee
that's
State's
neat.
coach. Yep.
Let's keep an eye on him.
Purdue hosts Fresno State tomorrow. Purdue's only 3.5 point favorites. I think that's the closest margin of any Big Ten team. That game's at noon on the Big Ten Network. New era for Purdue football. Ryan Walters' era begins tomorrow.
You think
so.
they come out strong or come out a little bit weak?
I have them getting a W, but in a close one. So,
Okay.
so many unknowns. That's why I'm really excited about tomorrow.
Good.
I don't know what to expect. Play the ball really, so first time I can say that in a while.
It's kind of nice to have a little fresh
Yeah.
feeling that way.
It's funny how college football scheduling works. A lot of Purdue fans are up in arms about Fresno State. I'm like, that game was scheduled probably a decade ago. How it works, and now Fresno State's won 10 games for the last 6 seasons. So
Yeah.
you never know by the time you get to that future date, which future schedules are kind of going up in flames right now with all the realignment. But
Well, if you can pull out a win, playing
Yeah.
a tough opponent and winning
Right.
early in the season,
it's always been on CBS. Now is a deal with ESPN.
confusing.
So it is
There's
confusing.
a lot of money moving around. with
Tradition
these
out the
things.
window,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Dollars.
the dollars push all the decisions in college sports anymore. So
Yes.
should be a great weekend of college football. And Ball State travels to the back-to-back defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs
Ooh.
this weekend. So
Is that one even televised?
I don't know. I didn't write down the spread
Yeah,
or
probably
the TV station, but
Maybe a live stream through the Ball State.
at least Ball State will be getting a nice paycheck no matter what. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
And quick MLB update with some local teams. Paul's Cleveland Guardians are hanging in there. 64-70, but only 5 games back from the Twins, so not out of it yet. Still got a month to go. Cubs are sitting at 71-62, 3 games behind the Brewers, but they're in the second spot of the wild card, so sitting pretty right now. The season was to end. Reds are starting to trip up a little bit, 69-66, but they're 6 games behind the Brewers. Still only a game and a half back from the third wild card spot.
This is kind of that last month's kind of the war of attrition.
It is.
Injuries and guys getting used up a little bit in the pitching staff, so it's hard to predict.
It's just got to hang in there and find a way to make it to October, and then you got a chance. So.
You think about 162 games.
It's a grind. It's a grind.
Well, it'll be fun to see what happens.
It will. Got some tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1752, Pennsylvania's new statehouse bell, now known today as the Liberty Bell, arrived in Philadelphia from Whitechapel Foundry in London, England.
You think how long it took to get that thing over? The shipping cost, they had to commission a whole ship to bring it over. That is, I can't believe that came from London.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know. On this day in 1939, World War II started when Germany invaded Poland.
All right.
That would go on, of course, for a handful of years.
Yeah.
On this day in 1995, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opened in Cleveland, Ohio.
Ah.
I know that's on your bucket list.
I've not been there.
I have not either.
I have not.
Ryan, no?
I know my dad has. He said it's pretty neat. So I've been by it, but I haven't been there. I need to. Next time I'm in Cleveland, which is, I act like I go to Cleveland.
Next weekend.
Next
What
time
are we
I'm
I don't
talking
think I've been
about?
to Cleveland in 8 years.
That's a T-shirt that somebody should make.
Yeah. Well, next time, whenever that may be, I'll have to make stuff.
I'm never going to forget that. That's seriously like a trendy T-shirt that's going to happen next time I'm in Cleveland. ...
Make it a shirt. On this day in 2006, Roger Goodell began his tenure as NFL commissioner. I was surprised. I thought this was 2009-ish. I was surprised in 2006.
It's been a little while.
It's been a while.
He's had his own controversy here or there.
He's had ups and downs, but he keeps getting the extensions from the owners, so
Yeah.
lining his pocket.
He knows how to buy a good steak dinner for those guys, I bet.
That's really well put.
Yeah.
Really well put. And we got a lot of national days today. Today's National Lazy Moms Day.
Okay.
So all those hardworking moms, they deserve a lazy
Okay,
day
be
now
lazy,
and then.
yep.
So it's National Cherry Popover Day.
Okay.
Building and Code Staff Appreciation Day.
Yes, they're important.
Yes, that's some hard work there.
Yeah.
Bring Your Manners to Work Day, which I
Every
think is
day,
important
every
for all of us every day. National Chicken Boy Day. I had to look up what this meant, so I'm like, what in the world? It is a statue in L.A. Basically, Chicken Boy used to be a restaurant back in the 70s and 80s. It's not a restaurant anymore, but that statue on top of it, which is a chicken dressed up like a boy, has become so popular that they've renovated the statue over and over again, and
All right.
it's still a LA staple, I guess. News to me. But see, you learn good tidbits here on the first part of the show.
Think about the things that are important to Americans. That if you I know it gets a little weird in Asia sometimes too, the things that they really latch onto, but that is funny.
Today is National College Colors Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's World Letter Writing Day.
Let's do that today.
That's kind of
I did that.
A lost art.
a lost art. Yeah, thank you. I was thinking about
An email just isn't a letter.
No.
It's not the same. It doesn't land the same. You don't even say the same things.
Text message.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Okay, let's commit to it, guys.
All right.
Write one letter this week.
All right.
All right.
Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. And National Emma M. Nut Day. And I had to look up what her contributions were. She was the first female telephone operator.
Oh, okay.
She got a day for herself.
That's a big job back then, you know.
Yeah.
You're stabbing
a
a lot of stabs in the day, probably.
Had to make sure you knew where that other plug
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
What an interesting job.
Yeah.
A long way.
The jobs that got away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
That was a lot of fun. In money news, I promised we'd get to that.
Yeah.
The Dow Jones was up a little bit this week. However, the NASDAQ just had its worst month of 2023.
Ah.
All told, though, the markets have been good this year, in spite of all the uncertainty, and that's kind of unusual. Usually, uncertainty brings out the worst.
Yes.
So, we can all be thankful for that.
Yeah.
There was a consumer spending report for July that came out this week, and it was a little bit higher than anticipated. So, the American consumer is still spending money and doing things. Inflation came in about as anticipated in a different report that came out this week.
Okay.
So, remember what I said about economists and everything?
Yeah.
All that to say, who knows what's coming? but we could take a stab and we'd be just as right as anybody else, or wrong.
Yeah.
There's a big jobs report coming out this morning, and that's the next piece of data that they're looking for to see. That's really been the weird part of this year's economy is there's a lot of job openings, and the labor market's very, very strong. So I think that's confusing kind of everyone from having a better idea of what's to come.
Okay.
So they really look forward to these job reports as well as the inflation reports. We'll see what happens there and how that affects things, but overall, economy seems like it's still chugging along.
Good. Good.
Let's see what the higher interest rates are designed to slow it down a little, so we'll see if that's still coming or what may affect that. All right, thinking about today, we talked about our Community Appreciation Day in Bremen and Bob's Cafeteria Food Truck. So we'd love to see you up there if you're looking for a nice road trip on a beautiful weather day. This might be it for you. If you can't make it there, of course, our ATM's always open 24/7. In Rochester, we were just laughing how there always seems to be a car there, no matter what time of day or night you drive by. So we keep that thing stocked with cold hard cash, Paul.
Good.
We're still offering our 10-month CD special at 5.10 APY.
Okay.
I was talking to a customer yesterday about that special. Still getting a lot of good interest, not the cash kind, but
right.
It's an important product for us, and there's a lot of people that are looking still to get a little bit more out of their savings. It's a great time to be a saver now, finally, after 12 long years of low interest rates. So we look forward to serving you there. We do have our Simply Free checking accounts and our Simply Free business checking accounts. If you find you're paying fees, you don't know why, or you're getting tired of it at another financial institution, you should come talk to us.
Yeah.
These accounts are no tricks. They're really simple. We're not going to charge you any fees, and you can enjoy our great personal service. So come see us today. We'd love to help you out with that, and you get a free gift when you open the checking account.
Yes, you do.
All right. Well, our borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 399927.
And that makes us legal.
Well, I want to welcome our guest, Brian Johnson.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Here, make sure you get your mic up there so you can hear you.
Oh yeah, he knows what to do.
I'm treating him like a rookie. It's kind of a hazing thing.
Okay.
There you go.
You've been on the radio a few times, haven't you?
A couple times. At this place.
Brian Johnson's the Director of Development for Fulton County Community Foundation.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that, Brian?
I've been there since the end of 2007, so a few years.
Well, that's about like Roger Goodell's.
Yeah.
That's what Taylor was just talking about.
Yeah.
You guys almost share an anniversary. Well, that's a good long run. You've seen a few things happening, and that's probably more than half of the life of the Community Foundation. I bet
it's getting close. We're at 30 years now.
Wow.
And it's really amazing to see a community our size.
Community.
It is. What we like to say is we connect people with resources, with people that are working on a need in our community.
Okay.
So it's really neat to see how we can connect. If there's an organization that says, hey, we've got an idea, we think we can do this, we may need some financial help. We have the opportunity to work with donors and connect those two and make those grants possible.
Do you feel like our community has a lot of donors that have been supportive of that?
Yes. I say it over and over. Our community is very generous. We get the opportunity throughout the year to interact with other community foundations for communities our size. Our community, I'm bragging a little bit here, but our community is just so much more generous and very involved and want to see good things happen. So yes, we have an amazing group of folks in Fulton County and donors that have been with us those whole 30 years and new donors all the time. So it's a really neat mix.
You talked about local needs. Do you have one or two examples in mind over the past few years that
we've had some really significant things happen in our community in the last couple of years. If you take a step back and look at it, of course, the Outlet Youth Center is one of those that a few years ago this idea was there. It's been tried a few times and it hasn't been the right time or the right place. And you go down there now and see what kind of impact they're making with youth in our community. That's a huge thing right there. Going back a few years, you have organizations like Compassionate Health Center. You think about,
that's a good one.
You think about making the statement, this organization is literally saving people's lives.
Yeah.
That's not an over-exaggeration. A really amazing organization that provides health care for folks in our community. And a really recent example that's still, I think, in the new and growing phases is the Times Theater just down the block.
Yeah,
I mean, those are
true.
Those are some huge things that when you say, I walked out of a store on a Thursday evening and I couldn't find the parking space in downtown Rochester because there's stuff going on. So those are some really neat things that
That's right.
to take a step back and look at and say, wow, we've really made an impact here as a group of, really these are projects where volunteers came together and said,
Yeah, this wasn't like a company came in and created something for our community.
Yeah. These were grassroots efforts.
That's neat.
And we were able, of course, to support it from the financial side of things, but it's really neat to see how people step up and say, I've got a good idea and let's make this happen.
You know, there's a lot of satisfaction in doing something yourself. And I say that yourself, not me, the community.
Yes.
You know, making something happen, supporting it, even the finance part of that, the leadership, teamwork. It just feels good. It seems to breed other things coming in the future almost.
It does.
So what a great thing.
Yeah.
All right. Thinking about NICF, you mentioned 30 years. What started this? What was the seed money for this idea for a community foundation? Because Indiana's kind of a unique state in this.
Yeah. So conventional wisdom is that a community of 200,000 people or more is needed to support a community foundation.
Really?
We're very fortunate in the fact that we have the Lilly Endowment. And I always like to explain, people say, well, that's part of the Lilly Drug Company or the Lilly Foundation. No, what the Lilly Endowment is it was started by the family that started the Lilly Drug Company. But the Lilly Endowment is its own organization, and they provide things like education. They also support religion, and their third area is community development. So in the early 90s, they said, you know, we think we can challenge that conventional wisdom, and we think we would like to help Indiana have that local option. So they offered some matching funds. You don't get matching funds unless you have local support. So going back to our local folks that have given over the years.
So we stepped up and made that happen.
We stepped up, and it's really neat to see how that has happened. And Lilly Endowment was able to successfully help get community foundations off the ground in all 92 counties in the state of Indiana. So now donors have that local option where they can say, you know what, I want to support things here in my community that are going to affect my neighbors, my friends, my family on a daily basis. And now we have that opportunity to do that, in large part because of the foresight of those individuals involved at Lilly Endowment.
Right.
To be able to help start this.
Imagine being in that boardroom, kind of birthing an idea, crafting it a little bit, and wondering if it was going to be successful. You look back now.
It's been interesting this past year. I've been able to participate in a philanthropic leadership class, and it's named after John Muntz, a familiar name in our area. Was the lieutenant governor for a number of years, but he was actually the president of Lilly Endowment when this community foundation initiative started.
Oh, really?
So to be able to hear from him and for him to look back, and
that's nice.
He seems like a proud father. Sometimes when he talks about community foundation, so it's neat to see that and hear from that firsthand about how important they felt it was for that local opportunity.
Well, I like the full circle. You know, you've got some ideas that you want to give some money away. You've had some success in your life. You've saved well, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes sending that money out of state, out of country.
Yes.
I mean, there's some good opportunities doing that too, but to also be able to say, no, we could do something to meet needs in our community today, but also maybe it would affect the future too.
Yeah, and it's neat to see how we can we can make sure that these monies are spent here locally, and we aren't competing with other communities.
Yeah.
You think about, we're going to spend over $250,000 this year in Fulton County on grants that affect
Wow.
local projects. That's a pretty amazing number that donors have helped us get to.
I bet that would surprise a lot of people hearing that this morning.
Yeah.
We're speaking with Brian Johnson, the Director of Development from the Fulton County Community Foundation this morning. Now we're on the in the NICF calendar here, and I guess we'll think about Fulton County only, because NICF is the foundation, actually includes what counties?
Fulton, Miami, and Stark counties.
Okay.
So we're a 3-county association.
So that makes us really efficient.
Yeah.
But thinking about Fulton County this morning, what do we got coming up on the grant, scholarship, and giving calendar here?
A few things. Of course, we just mentioned Lilly Endowment. So the Lilly Endowment Community Scholarship application.
That's a big one.
That's a huge thing that Lilly Endowment has supported. Is that application is available right now. If you haven't started it or if you haven't completed it, please do so by the deadline, September 7th. So that's next Thursday coming up.
Ooh, Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend, a great time to get that. And I spoke with Shannon Berger, our scholarship coordinator, earlier this week, and she said, make sure and remind people to hit the submit button if they've already completed it.
Okay.
That's a key piece of it. If you don't hit that submit button.
You know, that was a paper application when I was a senior, so
yes.
I would have preferred online. That sounds nice and convenient, as long as you hit submit.
As long as you hit submit. If you didn't hit submit, Evan, you didn't qualify.
Okay, probably why I didn't get it. No, that wasn't why.
So that's coming up on September 7th.
Okay.
And then another deadline, Women's Giving Circle, Fulton County Women's Giving Circle. Again, a group of women who have come together and pool funds and make grants. That deadline, they are accepting video grant applications.
Okay.
So they put together about a 3 to 5 minute video showcasing your project or organization. The group actually has an opportunity to view those videos, and then they make a decision on where that funding goes. So that deadline is coming up on September 11th. Okay. So
what's the amount of those type of grants? Just an average?
I say a few hundred to a few thousand, usually $500 to $2,500, $3,000,
nice.
Somewhere in that area. Yeah, and it's neat when you think about the membership dues that come into that, and we also have been building an endowment fund that has added significantly to the totals that they've been able to grant out. So it's really neat to see that group forming, and I'll put a plug in if you're not a member. Unfortunately, Evan, you may not qualify for this group.
I don't
qualify either. Our wives do and have been a part of this, and it's neat to see how that group supports things. But that group will actually have their annual granting meeting on September 28th.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for invitations for that, and it's going to be at the Times Theater.
Oh, that sounds fun.
What better way to watch video grants than on a big screen?
Yeah,
so
I like
I'm
that.
looking forward to that. So.
That's a great idea.
But September 11th is the deadline for that, and there's information on our website about both of those, nicf.org.
Okay.
And you can look at Fulton County links and see the scholarships or the Women's Giving Circle page. And the other thing that I'll say, start thinking about right now is end of year giving. I know it's September 1st today.
Yeah.
But we always encourage folks to plan, and you think about tax implications and things like that as well. And now's the time to have that conversation with your tax professional and say, how much would a gift cost me? Because sometimes there's significant tax savings on that.
Okay,
so
that's a good reminder.
Kind of a early thought, but it'll be here before we know it.
It's kind of a good place for spontaneous giving, but also planned giving.
Yes,
you can do it both.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you wanted to share this morning, Brian?
I think those are the most immediate things that we've got going on, but appreciate you having us.
Yeah, we sure appreciate you coming on as well, and it's neat to hear a little bit about the history of our foundation here in Fulton County and a couple examples of interesting projects that donors and the folks working on this project were able to accomplish coming together. So thanks for everything you've done to make those connections happen and to be able to provide great advice and service to our community over the years.
Well, like I say, it's really about local people. I mean, that's how the foundation started. I know we have staff and organized boards now, but really it started off as an idea, and he didn't ever take much credit for it, but Dick was one of those people that really made this foundation possible. So kind of came back to the community.
And some of those things, aren't going to show up till years later. You got to have a little vision and put some trust in something. So really neat. Well, thank you so much. If you want to chime in on this trivia question, you're more than welcome to, Brian. Let me make sure I'm hiding this answer.
At least one of the teams is the arch rival of the team that I follow, or used to be.
Realignment.
Yeah.
All right. What college football team holds the record for most consecutive wins? A, Notre Dame, B, Oklahoma, C, Ohio State, or D, Alabama? Paul, you're going to guess first.
Well, I'm going to go with the choice that I had to begin with, Oklahoma.
Okay, Brian?
I've got to go with Oklahoma, too, because I remember them beating up on Nebraska for a few years.
Oklahoma's correct. You know how many straight games they won? You got to guess?
No, but I'm guessing it was late 60s, early 70s.
Well, it was between 53 and 57. Okay. They must have still been good.
They
were. They won 47 straight games.
Good Lord.
That's just incredible, and that will probably never be broken. All right, well, let's end our great show this morning with some words of wisdom. I was picking on economists earlier because we had some wise words from one. Paul Samuelson was an American economist. Good questions outrank easy answers.
I like those. All right.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's great being on this morning. Appreciate you allowing us to do this show, and it's fun interacting with you guys and talking with the community this morning, and we've got a lot to be proud of.
Yes. Thank you so much, Evan, for coming in. Thank you, Brian, for coming in, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yep. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.